Welcome to Channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrate to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel? Turn on the bell on side so once we have all the updates and news, you'll be the first one of getting all the insight. Now, today's video, I'm gonna answer a very common asked questions. What is the question? So the question is, what are my chances of getting invited and migrate to Australia? What is my chances? What is the ratio? And how can I actually DIY, do it myself, find out my chances and opportunity to actually migrate to Australia? It's actually a very complex and very open question, because without knowing your background, obviously I cannot answer how and what is the chances or percentage of migration success, especially in the immigration system. It changes all the time, and every single state and territory have their own requirement, have their own quota, have their own intake to actually select the candidate that they want. And also there is a federal election, there has been pandemic, there has been so many other national and international influences actually impacting the immigration system every single day. So it's actually very hard, but I'm gonna help you and guide you in a way that perhaps you can actually find out, and how you could utilize my channel with the playlist that I've already done for the past years, with all the information that you have, and learn from the video and how to access information for every single state and territory's information. Alright, so let's start with first thing. Now, first thing is obviously you need to identify what sort of occupation that you are in. So I've commonly used this web page that's provided by immigration itself. It's a very useful tool, and you should have bookmarked this for yourself. Obviously it provides every single occupation that you can think of, and that's available for Australia. So what you need to do here is basically scroll down, probably just skip all these legal requirement and lawful stuff, but for a user point of view, scroll down to where the search engine is and put in whatever the occupation that you think you are in. For example, you're ICT, you're software engineer, you're an accountant, you're a financial advisor, you are an engineer some sort, whatever that is that you think your occupation is. And obviously you will have, for example, if you're a chef, right? Let's punch in chef, and obviously you will get this result as a chef here, and tells you what sort of visa it's available to actually be applied for. Now, bear in mind one thing. A lot of people got this wrong. They thought, oh, okay, I'm a chef, so I can apply 186, 189, 190, 407, 485, blah, 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 and goes on. Now, the list of visa it's available for this occupation does not mean that you can apply straight away. Why? Because remember, the Australian immigration system is an invitation-based system. You need to meet their criteria for particular federal or state requirement, and then they will invite you. So it's very different to what Canada and USA or traditional other countries like UK, how they offer. Australia is a system invitation based, so you need to meet the points that you require. Now, having the required points still does not mean you will get picked, you will get invited, because there are so many people out there. For example, if your point score is only 75 for chef, there are probably another 100 people with 75 points as well. So then it will be the state and the government's choice to invite whoever they want. Okay, so it's an invitation based. This information does not tell you, oh, I can lodge it straight away. For example, for the temporary skill shortage, still, and that is the reason I have so many videos in my channel that you can search for. Treat my channel as a library. Almost all the question I have answered in there. You may want to do a search in my channel. You may find your answer there. So for example, in temporary skill shortage, can I lodge a 482 visa? Well, this occupation is available for 482 visa, but can you lodge it straight away? No, you need a sponsor. Okay, a sponsor required to pass standard business sponsorship and lodge an approval nomination for you and your occupation. Then you will be able to link yourself with 482 visa with that. So it's actually not that easy answer to the question that you're asking for. So that is why you may notice I've got hundreds and thousands of videos already made over the past 3 years in this channel. And finally, last but not least, you need to know the assessing authority. Now, what is that? Now, that's a skill assessment. Now, you may be able to search this web page yourself. Skill assessment is very vital. It's the first step into skill migration in Australia. So once you identify your occupation, then you know you're available for all these type of different visas, provided either you're going to be invited, meeting the points, and or perhaps employment, blah blah blah. And the next thing is you need to get your occupation skill assessed. Now, what is that? I've done a lot of video on that one as well. Skill assessment basically serves as a standardized procedure that the government can actually recognize whether it's got to be your qualification or your work experiences as the Australian standards. Okay, so if we go back to as a chef, you're required to go through TRA. Now, you may not really know what TRA is. Once you click on that, you will see that little prompt coming out, which I have actually covered. So you can see that prompt where to go for that skill assessing authority. And if you want to know more about detail of the skill assessments and the guidelines, I've actually also done a detailed guideline explanation for every type of skill assessment there in my channel as well. Okay, so and you need to get that done, because a lot of people thought, oh, I'm a chef, so let's do it. And they find out they end up with a negative skill assessment. Now, a lot of people will also ask, well, can you tell me whether I'm going to get a positive skill assessment? Now, that question is still a very open question. I cannot really tell you because I'm not the skill assessing authority. It's like, oh, can you tell me if I go to University A, can I get a master degree? Well, how would I know? I mean, that's your own academic performance. I cannot predict within the next few years you could successfully complete every single subject, provided you need to study the course. So asking yourself, if you ask yourself, if you get somebody to ask you, or for example, and then ask you whether they could actually get a master or can I get a PhD degree, what is your answer? It's the same thing. If you ask me whether you can actually get a positive skill assessment, now I don't access to your profile. I don't access to all your information. How would I know you will get a positive result? And plus, sometimes skill assessing authority do conduct interview. They call you up, not me and not anyone else. And you need to pass that interview as well. So that's another way that you need to get that done. And a lot of people say, well, what if my chances is low, it's not gonna get it, why would I spend money on it? No, it's a first thing. Now, if you want to travel from wherever you are to Australia, what is the first thing? You need to buy a ticket, right? You need to buy a ticket. Well, you spend the money to buy a ticket, right? But if once you buy the ticket and you notice that your flight is canceled or whatever the reason that you cannot board the flight, then that's another thing. But if you don't buy a ticket, your answer to the question cannot really be confirmed. So again, this is how I commonly be asked, what is my chances of getting visas and things like getting invited. Again, I'm here to tell you, here is your chance. Your chance is how you could actually assess yourself, DIY, step by step, and how to actually find it out. Now, last but not least, I'm going to show you, this is actually my preview of YouTube page that you can perhaps actually find. I've circled it down here where it's actually showing 491 skill regional, and if you go into that playlist, that will have all the different states criteria, which I have put all those videos in my YouTube channel. And also in the YouTube channel, there's a little search within the channel. You can actually search whatever the question that you want to ask for. Perhaps you can find your answer from my channel. Just treat my channel as a library to all the Q&As. Now, and this is what you will be looking at. I wanted to show you at the just right beside myself, right up here, you see a list of video there. There's just been a lot of explanation of different states. You see New South Wales, South Australia, ACT, how you can depict and read and understand. And some states require ROI, some states do not require ROI, but you definitely need an EOI and so on and so forth. So for example, if you come to South Australia, how can you actually use South Australia's website to identify what's required? So for example, you come here and you put in chef again, it gives you a detail and what is it required for offshore and what is required for somebody who actually graduate from South Australia. And same thing, now every state have different approach on their selection criteria. Now for Queensland, it doesn't have a search engine, but it does have visa option, and down with a skill visa categorized into 4. One is graduate from Queensland, skilled worker in Queensland, somebody living overseas, and for small business owner. So you can go through those details there. So last but not least, so what is my chances of getting invited? It's a very open question. I do not know. I don't know your background, I don't know your age, I don't know your IELTS, I don't know whatever the score. And even if you provide your score, have you done your skill assessment? Are you confirmed those score is actually the score you may have? Because a lot of people going through skill assessment and notice their 5-year experiences has been reduced down to 3 years, so they suddenly lost their score. So again, I'm here in this video provide you a guideline pathway directing you where you should actually go for. So the first step, let's summarize it. First step, identify your occupation and knowing what your occupation is available for different type of visas. And then secondly, go into skill assessment. Get that done. I mean, it's not an expensive procedure, but if you don't get it done, your question will never be answered. So even if you get a negative result, the skill assessing authority will give you guideline how you could actually in the future get a positive result, and then finally go into different state and territory and finding out, which I have provided a lot of video teaching you, explaining you, educating you each different state and territory, their requirement and their guideline as well. Anyway, should you have more question or query, more than welcome to leave a comment right down below, and I'll see you next video. Goodbye.